food deprivation. In other words, if she doesn't do what she's supposed to do, the whistle is not blown and she doesn't get the fish. If she were transferred to a natural sea pen in Puget Sound, where she came from, she wouldn't have to do these stupid dolphin tricks all day long, these monotonous. It's even monotonous for the trainers. I can tell you that, having done that show over and over and over again.
Perhaps she continues out of sheer will, hoping that if she fulfills her duties, she will one day be reunited with her family in the wild. One doesn't have to be an expert on whales to determine that Lolita is unhappy. A visit to her tank between performances or late into the night will reveal a valiant creature in distress, one who floats lifelessly in her tiny pool, alone. There are reports that she's on Prozac for her depression, but they can't be confirmed. Lolita's medical records are no longer open to the public. They became private property when she became property. Lolita and others like her were once considered to be held for the public in trust, but now she officially belongs to the Miami Seaquarium.
It's all about money.
On any given day, we've got 2,000 people coming into the park.
To date, Lolita has earned the Miami Seaquarium owners roughly $160 million in a $60 billion industry. As reward, she is housed in a deteriorating sideshow park, living in solitary confinement in the world's oldest and smallest tank. A tank that is illegal by government standards.
This is by far the worst facility in the world for orcas. It's substandard, it's illegal, and it's living proof that the system doesn't work. We had a Marine Mammal Protection Act passed in 1972 to offer protection to these animals. But the Marine Mammal Protection Act today might as well be called the Marine Mammal Park Protection Act, because that's who they protect. People are under the illusion that the National Marine Fisheries Service are there to protect the animals. The fact is, they are a regulatory agency. They issue permits, and they have approved 99.4% of all permits that cross their desk to exploit marine mammals any way you want to. That's the reality of it. They've approved permits to kill up to 7 million dolphins in the tuna fishing industry, another billion-dollar industry. Lolita's tank is clearly illegal, but nobody is doing anything about it. They're doing things to protect the corporation that are exploiting Lolita.
You've got a handful of people that, for whatever reason, don't agree with what Miami Aquarium is doing. That's fine. On any given day, we've got 2,000 people coming into the park to enjoy what we do.
According to APHIS, the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, the primary enclosure for a whale Lolita's size must be a minimum of 48 feet wide in either direction, with a straight line of travel across the middle. Lolita's tank is a mere 35 feet from the front wall to the slide-out barrier. At its deepest point in the center, the tank is only 20 feet deep. Is this adequate living space for a 7,000-pound whale? Lolita's freedom fighters say absolutely not.
APHIS is one of the most useless agencies I've ever seen in my life. They're lucky if they get to inspect the seaquarium once a year.
This is former animal trainer Russ Rector. Russ helped shut down one failing park in 1994 and has been on this aquarium's back ever since. He is growing very impatient.
These animals go into these facilities and literally are worked to death. They're worked till they're dead, and then they go get another one, and they work that one till it's dead. Back when Ocean World was going down, either a dolphin, a whale, or a seal or a sea lion died every month, non-stop, for 3 years, and nobody noticed.
So rather than wait for the U.S. government to enforce the Animal Welfare Act, Russ began investigations of his own.
The Miami Seaquarium is really showing its age. It's literally falling apart.
Here's the backside of Lolita's whale stadium. This is a place that they don't want the public to see. This is back in the maintenance area. There you can see Lolita's tank there. There's a show going on in there at this time. There's probably 200 or 300 people sitting in the grandstand. There's a picture of some of the piping, some of the cracking in the concrete up there with the construction jacks holding them up. You can see there's a terrible leak there that keeps it wet. There's algae growing. Those are the temporary construction jacks they had actually holding up the grandstand. It was in such a state of decay. You can see they have blocks of wood, they have sheets of plywood. There's so many of those construction jacks, it was almost like a forest under there. You had to weave your way through them. As you can see, they're just standing everywhere. And there's water standing everywhere, too. Just the mechanics running under here creates a noise level that is literally, it can almost make you nauseous. It's so strong. This truly is a facility that has outlived its time. To the right, you'll see that this is where the entire bank of electrical boxes are for the entire whale stadium, and there's a sign that says danger, high voltage. You can see that crack in one of the main support beams runs the entire length of the beam. You can see again construction jacks everywhere supporting the load that's trying to fall. Here's one of 3 windows in the Lolita's tank that they don't want the public to see. That's the second window, the middle window, that's leaking to the point to where algae is growing on the window. And here I am leaving after going under there and letting you see what Lolita truly lives in. If those grandstands are allowed to collapse and there's people in there, that will be truly a killer whale stadium.
They don't want to find anything wrong at these facilities because then they have to go deal with it. So the inspectors are walking around basically deaf, dumb, and blind, in my opinion. They don't want to find anything wrong. So they're just trying to ignore the fact that Lolita is the worst kept killer whale in the Americas and probably the world.
Russ's video was taken in August of 1995. 2 weeks later, the high voltage sign was simply painted over. In more recent footage, it does appear that the stadium is finally undergoing some repairs, but the jacks are still there, and so are the leaks. Across the continent, in his home office on Whidbey Island, sociologist and president of the Orca Network, Howard Garrett, responds to and logs hundreds of wild orca sightings every week. Garrett has been studying Lolita's family in the wild for some time now, and has been fighting for her freedom for over 20 years.
The Seaquarium's interest is obviously to keep that revenue coming in, keep people coming to the gate. They have pictures of Lolita all over town.